I came from a very poor family, and after finishing high school, I couldn't afford my university. So a Jesuit service helped me with my study at university, and also I had to work as a part-time guard with Jesuit service on weekend, and they helped me with my university fees and some schooling materials and more. Without Jesuit service, I would not have finished my university, and I would not be able to come here to help these children. And now I am offered another job with an advertising company in Phnom Penh. I will be working in a different area from this one. Now I am an accountant, but my new job position is an accounting service, but I work mostly with marketing. Yeah, I will do some research on the market also. When I was at home, I didn't live with my parents because they were all dead. I lived with my grandparents, and Father Kike brought me here in 2002. Then he took me to emergency hospital to have me check with my leg, my artificial leg, and to learn with the artificial leg, and then I came here to study. I started at grade 1, and now I'm in grade 6.
And what would you like to do when you finish school?
She wants to be a lawyer.
So when she's a lawyer, what would she like to do to help? To bring justice to people. My name is Janne. I am from Osmat, and I fell to the victim of mine in 2005. And I was brought here a few months later to study, and they helped me with food and accommodation, and they helped me a lot with my study. My name is Rayla. I come from Timinchai province. I had a mine accident when I was 13 years old, when I was taking care of my car in the rice field. And I have been studying showing in Don Bosco Father Kike. I lost my left leg and also some injury in my right leg. Had it not been for this place, I think it would be very, very difficult for my life because I don't have any knowledge. Here, I am responsible for the handicrafts. Also, I am making handicrafts and showing and weaving.
My name's Luke. I'm a doctor from Australia, and I've been working here in the centre for about a month now. I applied just through the Jesuits, wanted to do some volunteer work, and found myself here. I took over from a Spanish doctor, Elena, who was here for a year. There was an interim of 6 months where no one was working here at all.
And are you taking the clinic out to villages as well? Do you move around? And see?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we a good example was just 2 weeks ago. We went to one of the villages in the Kun, and that's about an hour and a half away. We got there, we set up shop, saw 50 patients in a day, and then came back. And that was a really good and efficient way of doing things. We just set up the medical boxes, got all the equipment out, and word spread to the surrounding villages that we were there, and they streamed in and we saw them and away we went. A lot of the patients come a lot from the outreach service, and then they simply come in here, and then we help them with what needs we can, and then refer them out to the hospital. If there's an emergency case, that's well catered for by an independent NGO. But in terms of the actual structure of the health system as a whole, there really isn't. A lot of it just happens from word of mouth, people hearing that the centre is here, and then just coming in off their own bat. There's a lot of unmet medical need out there. You really don't have to go far from the towns to be able to see that. And whenever we have gone out to any sort of villages, we come across people who have had untreated medical conditions for a long, long time. Untreated or badly treated. Unfortunately, there's Khmer natural medicine, which at best doesn't work, and at worst can cause a lot of harm.
And we saw you out at the jail doing a clinic the other day. You know, are you doing these sorts of clinics in the wider community as well?
Yeah, the jail is a weekly program that was set up by Elena, the previous doctor from Spain, and that works very well because it's all the need is there, and as much time as we can dedicate to the jail, it's going to be very well needed and well spent, because there's a lot of sick people there who otherwise have no medical care at all, and we can provide simple care which makes a good difference, which is very rewarding, because in the Western setting you're often tinkering around the edges, providing marginal benefits, but where the need is so great, it doesn't take much to really make a good difference.
Okay, look, this is where a lot of the families come to stay when they're here at the clinic?
Yeah, that's right. This is the sleeping area, both families and patients, all mixed in together, which has its own problems. So we often have to do treatments here as well as house the families.
And so the patients we're here now, where have they come from, and what are they being treated for at the moment?
Okay, we've got a whole variety. We have one lady here who has heart failure, and we're treating her for that. We have some thyroid problems. Here we have a lady with advanced liver disease, some problems with wound infection. So various things that we have and are treating along the way.
I mean, and the accommodation is fairly basic and fairly crowded here?
Yeah, it's quite crowded.
I mean, does the clinic need more space for people and better conditions for people to be staying?
Yeah, definitely. And the main thing is that if we could separate patients from family, they're all mixed in, which has lots of problems with infection crossover and just the simple difficulty of providing treatments in this setting. So it's quite difficult. If someone is sick here, then we first need to bring them into the consultation, administration, treatment room, and then get to work there. It would be handy if we could set up some simple things here.
And if you could set this room up, perfectly, just there were 2 or 3 doctors here, what would you have in this room? How would you set it up?
I think first of all it would be you'd separate the sleeping quarters for families and patients, and have proper, at least higher beds separated in space so you can get in and treat. Have some sort of separation between actively infectious patients and not. So you'd need more than this room. You'd need more than that.